bro, a champion's a champion is a champion, man. Period. End of story, man. You're putting, you're putting the title of your fate, your belief, and somebody that you feel is going to represent your company in a positive way. Champion is a champion, bro. Doesn't matter what, nationality, race, color, creed.
What's going on? What's going on? Ladies and gentlemen. Yes, what's going on? This is the Wrestling Outlaws. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another edition with the Outlaws themselves. We got former WWE head writer, WCW World Heavyweight Champion Vince Russo, former two-time TNA World Heavyweight Champion, one-time NWA champion that makes him NEC three-time World Heavyweight Champion. He is EC3. How are you, boys?
Hey, I'm great. Real fast question. We're outlaws, right?
Yeah.
What's your favorite Western or outlaw from, the Western genre? Because I was watching Outlaw Josie Wales the other day, one of my favorites. That still holds up. Real good movie.
Very nice. Yeah. I just remember Marlon Brando.
Mm.
I just remember like the shows, like Lassie. Man, I was probably
Lassie. Wait, what?
No, I'm talking about like just the Western, movies and stuff like, or not Lassie, but Bonanza and all that. Yeah, that was.
Well, where you getting Marlon Brando from?
I don't know. What's the dude's name?
I don't know who you're talking about.
John Wayne?
What dude are we talking? John Wayne?
No. Who was? I see his face. He was in like. Who's the guy who was in Bonanza?
Lorne Green.
You know more about movies than
Lorne Green. Lorne Green
You're
was
the
a
TV
star.
guy.
Lorne Green was the star of Bonanza. Yeah.
There you go.
You think you know all the wrestling stories? There's more you haven't heard yet. Join us on Backstage Pass.
How about Lassie? Who was this? Who was the
dog?
Lassie was the star. Lassie.
What's the guy's name? He's dark-haired. He was name some Western shows.
Man, I really kicked this off with a stinker.
Gunsmoke, Rawhide.
I remember Gunsmoke.
Rifleman.
No. Bonanza was probably the one. To answer your question, Bonanza is the one.
Okay, yeah. I've been to the Ponderosa Ranch as a child.
Have you really?
I was probably 7 years old, as we were talking about earlier. Yeah.
Very nice.
I'm going to watch Unforgiven again. Gene
I never seen it.
Yeah, one of the deal. Apparently, it's great, and I remember
It is a great movie. I've seen it a long time ago, but it's a good movie.
Very nice.
the remake of Tombstone. You hear about that?
I did not. No.
Guess who's Doc Holliday? Matthew McConaughey. So that might actually be pretty cool.
Wow, very nice.
I don't like remaking, but Matthew McConaughey can do no wrong.
Very nice.
All right. Let's go.
There you go. It's wonderful. All right, let's speaking of Westerns, let's shoot from the hip, ladies and gentlemen. We have the AEW Media Scrum after Full Gear. Bobby Lashley, he was asked a question about black wrestlers, about black champions, and it was a very interesting media scrum. MVP was very heelish, and he was like, "Who are you? What degree do you have?" Next question. He would answer very shortly, and
what's the degree?
Yeah, it was really funny.
What are your media credentials?
Yes, indeed. One of the questions he called popular wrestling historian a nerd. He said he doesn't answer questions from his outlet, and Tony Khan basically took over and said, "I'll answer the question," because
let Montel cook.
You think, you think, but Tony Khan wanted to defend his guy. A little bit of a wrestling mentor to him is probably what's going on here. So he stepped in and said he stepped in and he answered the questions. But one question was about black champions, and Bobby Lashley actually stopped MVP from answering. And he's like, I'll take this. And he said, he said this. He said, we normally, even before that, I'm getting a quote sent to me. I watched it. And so he actually said he didn't like that question. He said he doesn't like those types of questions because he wanted to normalize it. And he said this. He said, we've normalized this already, and that's what I want to do with it. Winning a title as a black champion, and there's other black champions here. We can kind of erase that word now, and we can just say champion. It can be a black champion. It can be an Asian champion. It can be a Latin champion. It can be any champion. So we have already normalized us, and we can kind of erase that black champion, and it's just champion now.
I love it.
Okay, so with that being said, I do actually want to throw this in too, because Triple H also said in a media scrum that we don't see color. So that got a lot of heat, but the black champion quote didn't get a lot of heat. What say EC3 about fans saying yay for one and nay for the other?
I guess it's whichever way the wind's blowing that day, or the perspective. I mean, everyone's entitled to an opinion, don't get me wrong, and I have my own. But at the same time, I love Bobby's answer. I saw that. I thought that was really cool, and for what it matters, as a peer and a colleague, as a man who's battled him for over 30 minutes in professional wrestling rings that have been 4-sided and 6-sided, he has my utmost respect and admiration as an athlete, as a competitor, as a human being, as a father, and now, and when he was a champion. And so I don't know why it would receive negative praise or negativity and then praise, regardless of the fact that it's being said by different people who people may have a perception or a belief attached to what they think they might think, which they probably don't think. But at the same time, I think Bobby handled it well. And if anybody could speak to it, I would say it would be him. With what we're doing, I have a promotion of NWA territory called Exodus Pro. I am super proud. I am super beaming with pride of all the talent I've helped cultivate and to help grow, that I've given a platform to be their best selves, okay? And so my NWA Midwest champion is Pretty Boy Smooth. 6'9", leader of men, growing each and every day in his role, understands the value of being a champion, has brought his work up to a championship standard. He's able to carry people to be better now. Our new tag team champions, Duke and Gannon, TME, the main event, also 6'8" to 6'9". Gigantic human towers of just manhood, dominant, flashy, athletic, graceful, great locker room people, great professionals, people that I'm putting whatever force I have behind them to see to their success. So much so, I let them kick my ass at the last show. They happen to be African American, but that is not at all a reason why they are in the positions they are in. They are in the positions they are in for the quality and the characters and the humanity and the talents they have. So on my behalf, I would say I would agree with Bobby to not see that, and I think Bobby is the best testament and the best voice to say so, considering he's a lived example of it.
Very nice.
Thank you. Vince
Russo.
These dudes are huge, by the way. Monster.
Yeah, I saw a you come up in my algorithms on X, and I saw you promoted, I think yesterday or the day before, and I saw the graphic. I'm really big into the graphics, and it was a pretty nice looking graphic, by the way. And I liked how it looked, and you have the Puerto Rican woman's champion.
She's her champion. She happens to be. She's a feisty gal. I'll say another. I didn't want to exclude her from the conversation because I don't have any desire to. She's been leading the women's division. She grows each and every time. She excels. She's become a great character. I can trust her to go out there and do everything that is necessary. She's thriving in the platform. We helped get her signed with the NWA. I think she's a future NWA women's champion there. Yeah, I guess she's Puerto Rican too. Who cares? All I know is she's awesome, and I vouch for her fully.
Yeah, I personally like the diversity that flyer, that graphic showed. It was really cool to see that, man. And so I was like, my guy, man, my homie is doing some things over at Exodus Pro, man.
You know what I'm doing? I'm showcasing the best talent I can find, regardless.
I like it.
And I'd love to have you. Hey, our next show, January 18th. Let's bring you up. See how real show is on.
Put me in the ring, brother. Put me in the ring. Vince Russo, man. What say ye about this black champion, black wrestler, black talk?
Yeah, bro, a champion's a champion is a champion, man. Period. End of story, man. You're putting, you're putting that title of your fate, your belief, and somebody that you feel is going to represent your company in a positive way. Champion is a champion, bro. Doesn't matter what, nationality, race, color, creed. I mean, a champion's a champion, man. It's a very important spot to be in. Yeah. And I'm with EC3. I don't think it has anything to do with color. I think it has to do with who's the best man or woman for the job, period.
Yeah, someone who, pushed Booker T. I mean, I would say I'm glad that we're here now in 2024. It was a running topic for a while in the 80s and 90s because, it was such a anomaly. I mean, anomalies are usually topics that get more attention because they are a unique, factor in things. And it was an anomaly to have. I mean, there wasn't a black champion at all until who was the first black? I mean, I guess you can say The Rock. And that was in 98 Survivor Series Deadly Game, right?
Yeah,
98 is when the crew. Yeah. So that was not until 98. And then, Booker T won the World Heavyweight Championship. Ron Simmons, that was a big thing. And he kind of owned it. He was the first black world champion. JBL even says it, back in 1992 when he won, because it was such an anomaly that for so long, for decades, there were no black champions. And then Ron Simmons and the feel-good moment that felt, and just the fact that even WWE talks about him being the first black world champion. So, throwing that completely out the window is something that takes away some of the people's attachment with it, like a Ron Simmons. I do think the fact that he was able to break barriers, I think that's a part of his resume. You know what I mean? And so you shouldn't discard that. But at the same time, it is normalized now. And I think Ron Simmons broke the barrier to normalize it. So I think you can have both right at the same time. That's
was it really not normalized, Chris? Because I would love to see the statistics, okay? Because Chris, I got to tell you, even working indies and 5-7 years ago when I was working this indie that I'm working today, bro, there was a lot less black wrestlers. So now it's a numbers game. You did not. I don't, Chris. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I think there were a lot less black wrestlers, back in the, 70s, 80s, and even into the 90s, so now it's a numbers game. I mean, if you have 10 white wrestlers to every one black wrestler, well, now the odds are not in their favor to be the champion. But I would love to see, especially the last 10 years, how many more, black wrestlers have been on WWE rosters, AEW rosters. There's a lot more black wrestlers out there. So obviously that's going to increase the odds of them winning a title.
That's true, but I will say this. I will say that a lot of the black wrestlers of yesteryear were way more over than the current black wrestlers as far as leaving a legacy. Bobo Brazil, Ernie Ladd, Thunderbolt Patterson, Tony Atlas. You know what I mean? So those people, all four of those people who I said should have been a world champion in some time in the 70s or 80s or 90s. And I do think the very fact that yes, Vince McMahon would push them as notable black wrestlers, but why couldn't they be at the top of the card? I mean, they were among legendary pro wrestlers, Hall of Famers. Why couldn't he put the world championship on? What stopped him from doing that?
Yeah,
I was actually Ernie Ladd.
I was going to ask you if there was anybody that, sort of between Ron and I guess The Rock. Was there anybody that seemed primed and ready that maybe wasn't that you can think of? And I think
Ernie Ladd, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah.
In WWE though, or more NWA? Right?
More territorial wrestling, more, and I think Ernie Ladd, he had the ability. I mean, he's tall, a great heel. You know, I mean, he was an amazing. He's a WWE Hall of Famer. So clearly, he was strong enough to be among the elites, right? And so if you even think about all the black wrestlers who are in the Hall of Fame right in the WWE Hall of Fame right now, how many of them have been world champion? Booker T and The Rock, really. Mark Henry, he's been a world champion too. But I think that'll be an interesting experiment to see how many wrestlers are in the WWE Hall of Fame and how many of them actually were champion. I think definitely Tony Atlas too, man. I think he could have been a top babyface easily in the WWE.
He's definitely the foot world champion.
Oh yeah, him and doesn't he like feet and people slapping him or something like that?
He loves it.
That's really odd.
Harkening back to the subject, then maybe 2024, and we're having the comment. Maybe that's not the worst question that could have been asked to Bobby at this place at this time, so that we can see, rectify maybe mistakes of the past, but also see how far we've come and what the future holds. And then maybe that question could be put to bed and, it's been addressed. And I think, it's not a bad conversation to have. So
I 100% agree with that. Yep, absolutely.